everybody doing? Good? Yeah. Okay. So my name is Peter Pelberg, and I'm the founder of an app called Yog. And we're basically providing people on-demand exercise companionship wherever they are, whenever they want. So before I kind of go into that, what I'm most interested in, right, is the social psychology behind that. Well, that just advanced super quickly. The reveal is gone. So if you think about, subjecting yourself to gravel and exposing yourself to barbed wire, these aren't necessarily decisions that people would make to do by themselves. And the same goes for walking across a cliff on what I would assume or looks like a piece of shoestring, right? So the people that we spend time with very much impacts how we spend our time. And so this isn't just some postulation. About 100 years ago, a social psychologist by the name of Norman Triplett, he looked at bike riders, and he saw that cyclists biking by themselves weren't performing as quick, weren't riding as fast as people in a race. Seems like a very simple revelation. And he replicated this across different mediums. So the next he looked at children, and he saw that children completing simple tasks by themselves versus with a group were more efficient. And so beyond this idea that we're more motivated by people around us, Triplett went on to say that we actually have this hidden potential within all of us that can be activated or realized when we're around the right people. And so when you think about everyday exercise, right, like health is something that we practice every day. A lot of our life happens every day. It's not these kind of like solipsistic moments that we can point to. And everyday exercise, at least for me, doesn't look like this, right? I don't have someone yelling at me, motivating me to push, right? Although I wish I did, but a lot of the times it looks like this, right? It's just me running by myself, and that is not the most, it's sometimes difficult to make that decision. So sometimes it looks like this, where it's me debating whether I'm actually going to go up and run. I'm fighting my alarm clock, and like yesterday morning, a lot of the times it looks like this too, right? Where you're really trying to fight this urge to get out of bed, but when there's nobody there kind of compelling you to do that, it can be difficult. But when you think about what I just said, so you think about Norman Triplett and how motivated and compelled we are by people around us, and then you think about just the proliferation of our phones, right? So there's millions of people every day that are kind of tracking their exercise. They're digitizing their persona, so to speak. But the way that we engage with other people while we're doing that is limited to kind of before and after the fact. And so what we're building is a way to network the 1.7 billion people that are going to be using their phones as digital workout companions in 5 years to exercise together in real time. So rather than having these discrete nodes that are all taking their kind of morning runs by themselves, we're making that an experience that people can share together. So this is a little bit of a mock-up of how our app looks, right? So you have your profile, and then the way that it literally works is you go in and you see that there's a run happening at 8:30 tomorrow morning, and you join up with that virtually with potentially hundreds of other people from around the world, so you're recreating this experience of exercising with other people. So what's interesting, right, is you think about who we spend our time with impacts how we spend our time and ultimately how long we live. So if we're able to impact the way that people are socializing around exercise every day, we can hopefully alter how long people are living or curb this terrible trend that I'm sure lots of people have spoken about, is just obesity. And so we built this first version of our app, and we released it 6 months ago, and with a simple idea of networking together friends. So our hypothesis was that tons of people had relationships with people that would motivate them. They were just separated by physicality. And so we built a way. That's me and my friend Will. He lives in San Francisco, but at the time I was living in Atlanta and he was living in New York. So crazy locations here. So we built a way so that we could run together. We could motivate each other. And I thought this was perfect. This was a great idea to motivate people to start exercising more. But what we found is that only 1 in 10 people were completing the runs. So this really was troubling, right? The pain point that we were trying to address is the frequency and the level at which people were exercising. And so when you thought back to the problem, is like, what is effective? How do you motivate people to exercise? Or how do you motivate people to do anything? And a lot of it is presenting them with a binary decision. You answer questions for them. You don't have to think about what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, or with whom they're going to do it. So we switched the model, and we started scheduling runs ourselves. So we started making everyday exercise into an event. And it had pretty tremendous effects. We then saw that our completion rates jumped 4x. So we had people now completing runs that they pledged to do at a much higher level. And this is really exciting to us. So without going too much into how the application works at this very moment, what we're trying to do, right, is we're trying to network all of these experiences together. Because there are all of these discrete instances of people exercising, and there's what we think is this amazing untapped potential when you network these people together to not only increase how often we're exercising, but the level that we are. And so what we want to do is we want to turn what may be a morning bike ride, a run, or just a walk into something like this. And not to say that there is some ferocious race, but the idea that there's this sense of community, right? That we're creating global runs every 30 minutes. So that when you have this decision in your brain of whether you're going to wake up or sleep, it's not only that you have a community that's looking out for you, that's that you're sharing this experience with other people. And so we're on a mission to turn everybody on this planet into a workout partner, such that when you think about your existing social networks, there might be conflicts with people, whether it's their availability, their skill level. All of these things create kind of overhead when you think about exercising with other people. And so we're eliminating that by turning every person with a smartphone into a potential workout partner. And not someone that you just talk about the exercise before and after the fact, but you're actually sharing that experience so that you can unlock this potential that Norman Triplett discovered. And so that's what we're working on. We're really excited about it. If any of this was compelling and you want to talk more about it, please, I'm on Twitter, and I'd love to share more. Thanks so much.